It is true that practice is required, necessary, and essential in order to succeed in inner spiritual quests. However, if one thinks that one can directly jump into practice, especially meditation or self-enquiry, without the support of this other important thing, it is wrong. And what is this other important thing you need most for a productive, effective, successful meditation? It is knowledge. To put it more accurately, it is knowledge that comes from association with the wise, that is, the teachings of sages and scriptures. To start with, what does knowledge mean? Why is knowledge so important to have for successful meditation practices? What is the relationship between knowledge and practice? Even in worldly matters, in order to solve any problem, you have to first understand very clearly what the problem is and how to solve it. You cannot just jump into action without knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it. You have to make sure you have the right tools too. For this, you first get the know-how from an expert about fixing the problem. Then you understand it clearly. Then you get the needed materials, and only then you start fixing the problem. In the same way, you cannot think that you can jump into meditation directly without obtaining supportive knowledge, pondering over it, ruminating on it, clearly understanding it, and getting it absorbed within firmly. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that the mind is turbulent. He says, without doubt, the mind is restless, hard to control. So, this clearly indicates that the mind is a very powerful force, filled with turbulent thoughts, and that it is not easy to control it. And in order for one to bring the mind under control, one must gain knowledge about the way the mind functions and how to control it. Such knowledge can be authentic only if it is provided by a jnani, a sage, such as Ramana Maharshi, who is the guru we follow here. But listening to a few teachings of Maharshi just once or twice, here and there, is not enough, because deep mental impressions have been formed in a typical person's mind. It is filled with desires, likes, dislikes, attachment, anger, hate, memories, and so on. One's identification with the body is very strong. Under such conditions, it is not easy to just directly sit down and meditate quietly without supportive knowledge and strength of mind. Gradually, the mind has to be made to understand that being quiet will bring the same happiness that it thinks it can get by wandering with thoughts. The bull has to be convinced that the grass inside its own stall is as tasty as the grass in other fields. For this, the mind needs knowledge, and it also needs to be in the extremely peaceful but mighty atmosphere of the sage, whose transcendental presence and grace alone can bring the restless mind under control. So, the truth is, there is no such thing as instant and quick achievement of inner quests and self-realization for an ordinary person. It takes continuous association with the teachings of the sage Ramana Maharishi, constant contemplation on the teachings, and having mental contact with Maharishi. Maharishi is transcendental and actually the supreme reality appearing in a form to guide us. He is a mysterious power. He is not a body. Mental association with him and listening to his teachings, even if you don't fully understand them, automatically produces your well-being and peace of mind. It also makes your mind strong so that worldly problems don't affect you much, and it mysteriously takes care of you. Ramana Maharishi himself says so. Those who come here are brought by a mysterious power that will look to their needs. Therefore, a sincere spiritual aspirant who seeks guidance in the mental atmosphere of the Maharishi gets a push from outside and a pull from within to achieve the goal. Such an individual is liberated from bondage and gets salvation and abides in perfect happiness. Therefore, knowledge or association with the wise is very important for successful meditation practices. In fact, Ramana Maharishi himself says, knowledge without practice is superior to practice without knowledge. He also says, the mind comes under control spontaneously in the presence of a superior power. Such is the greatness of association with the wise. And the point I am trying to make here is that it is only to offer you this great association with the wise and provide the supportive knowledge to help your meditation that I offer all the videos on the talks with Ramana Maharishi, Upadesha Sharam, 40 verses on reality, Ramana Gita, hymns, who am I, and so on. At first glance, one may feel, well, the teachings seem pretty much the same in Maharishi's every talk and in all his other works. So why waste the time on watching these videos? The fact is, it is very important to watch all the videos on Ramana Maharishi's talks and his other teachings, even if they seem repetitive and not very fascinating. Why? Because they help you to keep your mind in tune with the supreme reality, your own true, perfect, peaceful nature that you're trying to realize. They help immensely to make your understanding firm in your mind. And the most important thing is that they create the habit of turning inward with a devotional mind and removes the habit of a wandering mind. Without achieving these things, your meditation will not be effective. Also, every talk or teaching from Ramana Maharishi provides more clarity to the same subject matter. So, each time one listens to them, a new meaning appears in the mind. Moreover, they are explanations provided on different issues based on different problems of people. This knowledge helps you to solve your own problem. And the more one contemplates on them, the more ready and controlled one's mind becomes for meditation. That is why it is said that association with the wise is essential for realization of the self. One more thing is that whenever you are in association with the teachings of Ramana Maharishi, you also get something inexplicable and intangible that you cannot get anywhere else. and that is grace. For successful meditation, Guru's grace is essential. Here is a tiny example about what Ramana Maharshi says about grace. Maharshi tells a visitor that selfless actions will purify one's mind and prepare for meditation. The visitor asks, "What if one meditates incessantly without actions?" Maharshi replies, "Try and see. The vasanas, deep mental tendencies, will not let you do it. Dhyana, meditation, comes only step by step with the gradual weakening of the vasanas by the grace of the Master." These are Maharshi's words. So, when he mentions the gradual weakening of the vasanas, one of the ways that this happens is by associating with the Master mentally and keeping in touch with his teachings constantly. To summarize, why should you watch every video that is offered here on Ramana Maharshi's talks and other teachings, even if they seem repetitive or difficult to understand or practice? Because such mental association with Maharshi will make your meditation effective and successful. This is the association with the wise that is so widely mentioned in the spiritual context. When you constantly keep in touch with the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, ponder over them, and make mental contact with him, then when you take up the venture of deep contemplation, meditation, and self-enquiry, your mind will be ready for such inner quests. Without preparing the mind with the help of the powerful teachings of the Maharshi, and without churning the mind over and over again with the guidance that is based on the authority of the Maharshi's personal experience, one cannot have a productive, effective meditation session either by watching a meditation video or sitting alone with eyes closed. In other words, without knowledge, you cannot practice meditation. And it is only to provide this knowledge to help your meditation that I offer the videos here on the Talks with Ramana Maharshi, Upadesha Sharam, 40 Verses on Reality, Ramana Gita, the various hymns, Who Am I, and other great works offered by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. And it is for the same reason that I offer you information about the life of Ramana Maharshi as well as the experiences that his devotees and visitors had with him. So, please watch these videos, not for my sake, but for the sake of your own well-being, happiness, self-realization, and salvation.